Canada beats Australia 93-83, and it's time to talk the reactions. What's up, everybody? It's JJ Buckets. Gonna continue this thing of just doing the ups and downs after every one of these games. Before I fully get into things, usual drill, just make sure you're leaving a like on the video. It helps it out a ton. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Plus, if you plan on doing any responsible sports betting in the near future, make sure to check out my link in the description below. All right, so the first major up here, I originally had these guys all separately, but I'm gonna group them together for the point of saving time, I suppose. First major up goes to the starting lineup. Look, RJ, Shea, Lou Dort, Dylan Brooks, all brilliant in their own way in this game. Naturally, Shea got in there. He had the early foul trouble with the two fouls that forced him to sit pretty much the entire first quarter, almost the entire first quarter. Comes back into the game, and after that, Shea looks sensational for the rest of the game, right? The level of shot making that Shea displayed today, in particular, I'm thinking about the one shot that he made over the double team where I think it was Josh Green who played perfect defense on Shea. Didn't matter, knocks down the bucket. Like, the kind of difficult shots that Shea can make never cease to amaze me. They're always so fucking ridiculous to watch. So huge kudos to him. Great job dictating the pace as per usual. Speaking of as per usual, RJ Barrett, like, man, this guy really does not get the love that he deserves from, people that aren't Canadians, quite frankly. Ever since he arrived in Toronto, he's really figured out his niche, figured out what is going to help him succeed as a basketball player moving forward. He continues to do it. He had the game high in points today. Phenomenal job from RJ. And then, of course, Dylan Brooks and Dort, like, man, their defense on the wings is just so special. I saw a tweet from Esfandiar, S for short. Sorry, buddy, if I ruined that for you, but like your full name. But yeah, I saw a tweet where he was talking about how Dort and Brooks are the heart of the team, and I completely agree. Like, those guys, just with that intensity, with that defense, changed games so much for you. And in particular, it's the little plays like Dort ripping somebody right before the quarter is about to end and going for a layup and getting 2 points. Stuff like that is so huge when it comes to tight games like you had with this game until the fourth quarter. Like, plays like that matter. Plays like that absolutely matter. Both of them were phenomenal. Again, like, just the starting lineup, take a huge overall up to them. From the things that can be considered minuses in this game, I think you gotta talk about the interior defense and the points in the paint that Team Canada was giving up, in particular in the first half. Like, they really struggled with that. It's quite frankly what gave Australia their kind of way into the game, is that they were driving, they were penetrating, and they were scoring on the interior. And it's moments like those where, again, like, the weakness of like Canada's size really shows. And it's moments like those that, you sit there and you wish maybe one or two other guys were on this team that aren't on this team. But yeah, like, Australia managed to get some really easy buckets on the interior, and it made it an uphill battle for Canada to get back into this game. And in particular, the rebounding, I think at times was not really encouraging either. I think that's kind of its own down. Now, Australia did end up out-rebounding Canada by the end of the game, although the rebounding did get better as the game went along and kind of the gap closed. I believe the final difference between the two was only like 4 rebounds in Australia's favor, which these are the things you're going to struggle with, as a team that lacks size. And today, you got away with it. I think it's fine. It's a little more concerning, I think, when you get into the later stages of the tournament and you're going up against somebody like a USA, or you're going up against somebody like Serbia that has like a Nikola Jokic, which obviously, like, you don't want to be giving up easy, obviously, opportunities off the glass to a player like Jokic, right? Whether it be offensive or defensive. So, kind of a problem, kind of a down. I think both those things can be improved upon, but I also think both those things are just a natural, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? A natural symptom based off, or a natural, no, the symptom is the fact that you're small. You know what I mean. A natural illness of the fact that you're small, whatever, let's say that. You know what I'm saying, hopefully. But yeah, like unfortunately those things just were downs today, but ultimately it didn't affect the outcome of the game, with Canada obviously still winning. I think an up deserves to go out as well to Jordi Fernandez and the second half adjustments that you saw from Team Canada. Now, I already talked about it in terms of the minuses, like the dribble penetration was just really easy for Australia in the first half. Canada ramped up the intensity in the second half. The defense, you know, didn't give up as much just kind of leverage to Australia in that regard. And I think it made the world of a difference as the game went along, in particular by the time they got to the fourth quarter. You know, that defensive intensity started to wear down Australia a little bit. And I think that's a great call on Jordi Fernandez's part. Great adjustments by him in that regard, and really paid dividends the more the game went along, and it eventually led to the Canada victory. Speaking of Jordi Fernandez, this one kind of indirectly goes to him as well in terms of the ups, but I'm gonna give an up to Kem Birch. I thought Birch, for what he was asked to do in this game, in the minutes where he came in, he gave Canada what they needed, right? Like, the box score isn't going to show a tremendous game by any means. Like, Birch was okay as far as the box score numbers. I think he scored like 6 and had 2 rebounds off the top of my head. But it's the little things, right? Like, there were times where he just got into a really good position, you know, on the interior, helping protect the paint. And it was very welcome to see, obviously, considering some of the downs that have been talked about. I think putting Birch into this game, especially, you know, giving him more minutes than somebody like Olynyk, tough call to make, absolutely tough call to make. But it was the right call. It was absolutely the right call, and it paid dividends, and it really made the difference for Canada. He got some very, you know, important fourth quarter minutes for Canada there as well. Great call, putting him in the game, and shout out to Birch for going in there, settling into what he needed to do, and essentially doing it. So, very small, little underrated part of the game that really, really made the difference. And I think that pretty much does it for me today. Yeah, fun game. Waking up, you know, a little bit early to watch this one. There's times where like you're sipping your coffee and you're just like, man. And then especially when you see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander go to the bench early with 2 fouls, you're sitting there like, man, I woke up for this. But then, like, you know, Dylan Brooks goes on a good scoring pace while, while Shai's on the bench, and you're sitting there and it's a tight game after the first quarter, and you're like, you know what? Maybe it's gonna be all right. Maybe it's gonna be all right. Which, yeah, I mean, I thought Canada did a good job kind of holding it down for the minutes that Shai had to miss. This, I guess, is kind of an indirect up. I'm just kind of, I'm just talking about it at this point, you know, but yeah, good game from Canada. Really great second half performance, in particular from the team to separate themselves. They're now 2-0, and they sit in a fantastic position. Pretty much all but have locked up advancing from the group, which tremendous for them. They have 1 game left of the group stage, obviously, where they're going to play Spain. Might just be a formality by the time you get to it. Good game. Very good game from Canada. Really, these are the kind of games that Australia is a tough team. And these are the kind of games that give you encouragement that Canada, you know, will be on the podium by the time that the tournament is over. Other than that, folks, that's pretty much been me for the day. So what do you think? How'd you feel about the game? Drop it all in the comment section below if you were up early enough to watch it, or if you catch the highlights and you see what happened there. Just drop it all in the comment section. Give me your thoughts. Other than that, usual drill at the end of these videos. Make sure you're leaving a like on it. It makes a massive difference for me, so I do appreciate it. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Other than that, yeah, it's been JJ Buckets. It's been a pleasure, and I will see everybody next time.